What happens when you put the most sophisticated racing machine ever built next to the most powerful road car on the planet? Not a simulation, not a video game, not a render, right here, right now, on tarmac. One of these machines won a Formula One World Championship. The other costs £2.5 million and has an engine so insane, engineers had to invent an entirely new configuration just to build it. Neither of these cars should exist, and yet, here they are. This is not your average drag race. This is a collision of two completely different philosophies about what a car can be. And today, we find out which philosophy wins. Welcome to Luxury and Scale. Let's get into it. Right, so let me set the scene for you. On my left, the Red Bull RB7. This is the actual car that Sebastian Vettel drove to the 2011 Formula One World Championship. This isn't a replica, this isn't a show car, this is the real thing. A machine built with one singular obsession, to be the fastest car on a racing circuit at any cost. And that cost? When you factor in the entire 2011 Red Bull season budget of £250 million across 4 cars, you're looking at roughly £62.5 million for this one machine. Let that sink in. On my right, the Bugatti Chiron. A car that makes millionaires feel like they got a bargain. At £2.5 million, it's the kind of car that stops traffic, stops conversations, and stops your heart. It's not just a hypercar. It's a monument to excess, engineering brilliance, and the audacity to ask, why not more? 2 cars, 2 completely different worlds, one runway, one race, and I promise you, the result is going to surprise you. Let's start with how these two look, because honestly, just standing next to them is an experience in itself. The Red Bull RB7, there is nothing pretty about this car, and that's exactly what makes it beautiful. Every single surface on this machine has a purpose. The front wing, that massive multi-element blade sitting just inches off the ground, isn't there to look dramatic. It's generating downforce, pushing the nose of this car into the ground so hard that at racing speed, the aerodynamic load is strong enough to drive on the ceiling of a tunnel. The side pods are sculpted like the ribcage of some alien predator, carbon fiber everywhere. The car is barely wider than your shoulders. It sits so low to the ground that you don't get into it. You wear it. The livery, that iconic Red Bull blue and yellow. Even sitting still, this car looks like it's doing 180 miles per hour. There are no unnecessary lines, no chrome, no excess, just raw, aggressive, purposeful design. And the wheels, wrapped in Pirelli racing slicks that are wider than some people's waistlines, give this car a planted, menacing stance that makes your chest tighten just looking at it. This is what a car looks like when beauty is completely irrelevant and performance is the only religion. The Bugatti Chiron. Now turn around and take a breath, because the Chiron operates in an entirely different universe. Where the RB7 is skeletal and exposed, the Chiron is full, opulent, almost sculptural. The bodywork flows like water, every curve deliberately considered, every surface shaped by thousands of hours in the wind tunnel and the design studio simultaneously. The iconic C-shaped chrome line that wraps around the cabin, stunning. It separates the upper and lower body in a way that makes the car look like it's always in motion. The quad exhaust exits at the rear are stacked like artillery, hinting at the absolute madness that lives under that engine cover. The wheels are bespoke, Bugatti alloys, polished, intricate, almost jewelry-like, wrapped in specially developed Michelin Pilot sport tires that had to be engineered from scratch because no existing tire could handle the speeds this car reaches. The Chiron doesn't threaten you, it seduces you. 2 completely different design languages, both absolutely, unapologetically extreme. Getting into a Formula One car is not elegant. Let me just be straight with you about that. You basically lower yourself into a carbon fiber coffin that's been custom molded to fit one specific human being. The cockpit is claustrophobic in a way that feels intentional, because it is. Every millimeter of space is accounted for. The steering wheel alone costs more than most family cars and does about 40 different things. Brake bias adjustment, differential settings, fuel mapping, radio communication, pit lane speed limiter. There's no infotainment screen. There's no heated seats, there's no cup holder, obviously. What you get instead is a halo device above your head, a tiny digital dashboard that tells you everything you need to know and nothing you don't, and a cockpit so perfectly fitted to the driver's body that sitting in it feels less like being in a vehicle and more like being part of one. The paddle shift gearbox paddles are right behind the steering wheel, carbon fiber, razor sharp to the touch. This car was built for one person, in one mood, total focus. Inside the Bugatti Chiron, and then there's this. Slide into the Chiron and the world goes quiet, genuinely quiet. The doors seal with a sound that whispers, "You are safe, you are important, nothing can touch you here." The interior is hand-stitched leather, and not just any leather. You choose the hide, you choose the thread, you choose the color of the carbon fiber trim, the finish on the aluminium, the texture of the Alcantara headlining. Every single Chiron is essentially bespoke. The central console houses a beautifully simple infotainment system. Nothing garish, nothing overdone, just clean, purposeful luxury. The Bugatti logo is embossed into the headrests. The stitching on the dashboard is precise to within fractions of a millimeter. And the sound system? When you're cruising, it fills the cabin with something approaching silence, broken only by the distant, beautiful rumble of what's sitting behind you. This is a cabin built to make you feel like the most important person on the planet. And honestly, it works. Alright, this is the part you've been waiting for. Red Bull RB7, the engine. The RB7 runs a 2.4-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine. On paper, that doesn't sound like much, but context is everything. This engine revs to over 18,000 RPM. 18,000! The engine note isn't a sound, it's a physical event. A shriek that registers somewhere between a fighter jet and the apocalypse. It vibrates through the ground, through the barriers, through your chest wall. 750 horsepower from 2.4 litres, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no superchargers, just pure mechanical engineering, taken to its absolute theoretical limit, and it weighs 700 kilos total. The entire car, driver included. That power-to-weight ratio is offensive, genuinely mathematically offensive. This car generates so much aerodynamic downforce at speed that it's actually faster through corners than it is in a straight line. The opposite of almost every other vehicle ever created. Bugatti Chiron, the engine. The Bugatti Chiron runs an 8-litre quad turbocharged W16 engine. W16, not V8, not V12, W16. 16 cylinders arranged in a W configuration, fed by 4 turbochargers, producing 1,500 horsepower and, brace yourself, 1,600 Newton meters of torque. That torque figure is what does it. It's not just about horsepower. It's about the sheer, relentless, almost violent force that this engine pushes through all 4 wheels the moment you breathe on that throttle. It weighs just under 2 tons, which means it's carrying nearly 3 times the mass of the Formula One car. And yet it still pulls, hard, all the time, in every gear. The 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox is paired with launch control, which essentially lets the car's computer do the hard work off the line, managing wheel spin, torque delivery, and traction across all 4 wheels simultaneously. The race results. So what happened when we actually raced them? Standing quarter mile, from a dead stop. The Formula One car 9.2 seconds. The Bugatti Chiron 9.6 seconds. The RB7 wins the drag race, but here's the thing. The Chiron came back in the rolling race from 50 miles per hour, once it had speed already built, once those 4 turbos were fully spooled, and that 1,600 Newton meters was fully deployed. The Bugatti walked away from the Formula One car at the top end, still accelerating, still pulling. The braking test, Formula One wins again, because 700 kilos stops on a postage stamp. The Chiron, for all its performance, is hauling 2 tons of car to a standstill. 2 completely different weapons, and neither of them loses without a fight. Red Bull RB7, the strengths. This car is incomprehensible in corners. The aerodynamic grip is on a level that road cars cannot touch. It won a world championship. It weighs nothing. The engineering that went into every single component is the product of hundreds of the smartest people in motorsport working flat out for an entire season. It is, without question, the most technically sophisticated vehicle ever to turn a wheel. The weaknesses: you cannot drive it on a road. You need a full racing team to operate it. It's built for one specific driver's body, and there's no air conditioning, no storage, no music, no comfort whatsoever. The tires need to be at operating temperature to work properly. And if something breaks, you need a multi-million-pound facility and a team of engineers to fix it. Oh, and there are only 4 of them in the world. Bugatti Chiron, the strengths. £2.5 million, and it feels worth it every single time. The performance at high speed is something that has to be experienced to be believed. The interior is a masterpiece of bespoke craftsmanship. You can drive it to a restaurant, you can take your partner for a weekend away, you can cross a continent in it, and it will still embarrass supercars at every traffic light between here and Monaco. The weakness is it's nearly 2 tons. That weight is always there, always working against it. In corners and under braking. It's wide, very wide, which makes some roads feel genuinely intimidating. And while £2.5 million is just a number to some people, it's also the kind of number that comes with serious responsibility every time you park it. The Red Bull RB7 is for no one and everyone. It's not for sale, it's not road legal, it's a piece of history, a mechanical time capsule from the peak of one of the most dominant Formula One seasons in the sport's history. If you're asking who should own this car, the answer is whoever is lucky enough and wealthy enough to be trusted with it. It belongs in a museum and on a track in equal measure. The Bugatti Chiron is for someone who has already won, someone who has built something, achieved something, and wants a machine that reflects the scale of that achievement. It's for the collector who wants to drive their collection, the enthusiast who refuses to compromise, the person who understands that sometimes the most impressive thing you can own is something that took 800 people 3 years to build and still manages to feel personal. It's for someone who looks at a car like this and doesn't ask why. They ask, when can I pick it up? So, here's where we land. The Formula One car is a different category of machine. It doesn't compete with road cars. It exists in a parallel universe where the only metric that matters is lap time. Watching it move, hearing it scream, standing next to it on a runway, it does something to you. It reminds you that human beings, when given a singular obsession and enough resources, can build something that approaches perfection. The Bugatti Chiron is the greatest road car ever built, full stop. There is no road car on this planet that combines that level of performance with that level of refinement, and probably won't be for a very long time. It is outrageous and elegant in equal measure. And the fact that it genuinely pushed a world championship Formula One car to the wire in a straight line drag race is something that should not be possible, and yet here we are. 2 legends, 1 runway, no losers. I want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments. If you had to choose one, just one, which would it be? The RB7 or the Chiron? There's no wrong answer here, but there's definitely a more interesting one. And look, if you're new here, this is what we do on Luxury and Scale. We don't just look at cars, we put them in situations they were never meant to be in, with people who know exactly what they're doing, and we see what happens. If that's your kind of content, and based on the fact you're still watching, I think it might be hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because what's coming next on this channel makes this look like a warm-up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.